Welcome to the Boss Women Network podcast, a space dedicated to amplifying the voices, journeys, and power of women entrepreneurs across industries. As we prepare to transition our new brand, Boss Women Network will be transitioning to CEOS, which is a business that helps women in business and automates their back end services. We are honored to continue spotlighting the bold, brilliant, and resilient women shaping business through authenticity, healing, and impact. Now, today's guest is Miss Becky Smith, an ICF accredited empowerment coach whose story is a powerful testament to what it means to overcome trauma, reclaim your identity, and guide others towards healing. So let's get into your journey, Becky. Can you introduce yourself? Tell us what inspired you to start your empowerment coaching practice.
Yeah, of course. So thank you for the wonderful introduction.
You're so
So
welcome.
I have worked for someone else my whole life. So I just turned 40 and I have been in corporate my whole life. And I just finally got to a stage where it wasn't for me. I didn't feel I was cared for. I knew that I wanted to help women, and I couldn't do it working for a company that also didn't really care about me. So when I was off work for stress, I decided to figure out how I could do what I wanted to do. Originally, I used to do personal training, but I didn't like the fitness industry in terms of the body transformation, because for me, fitness is about health, not how you look. And that's
Ooh,
part of my brand. It's about, size doesn't matter. It's just as long as you're a good person and you stay fit and healthy for your health. So for me, the fitness industry wasn't the right fit. And then I started coaching, and it helped me because I've had therapy because of my background of domestic violence and sexual abuse. But I found that therapy was very much about constantly talking about your trauma and constantly going over it, and it didn't fit me because I wanted to kind of move forward. So that's when I found
right.
coaching, and it completely changed my life. It helped me to discover the strengths I had and move forward rather than being stuck in my trauma.
Mm,
And
mm,
from that, I thought, well, this is the perfect opportunity because I love women. I think women are incredibly strong and resilient. They're
yeah.
intricate, beautiful details. I love everything about them. I've got so many wonderful women friends. It was just the perfect opportunity for me to connect. And with coaching, there's no advice. You don't give people advice. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just using thoughtful, powerful, really deep conversations for you to figure out what it is
Mm.
that you can do to step into your power. So we're taking that pain and we're moving it into your power. So you're stepping in and becoming that resilient person that you've always have been. And that's how I help women discover that. And it's wonderful and I love it.
That sounds great. You said something that made a lot of sense. Therapy. I have not attended therapy, but you just made me not want to attend therapy because you said therapy is like you're just talking about your trauma over and over and over again, and you're not really receiving any coaching to basically grow past what you've gone through. You're just kind of basically walking through what you've experienced over and over, which also keeps you stuck in that mind frame or that mindset instead of moving past it. And I never
Yeah,
even thought about that as far as that's what therapy was about.
that's the
Um,
experience I had. And I didn't have a great experience. But obviously,
mm,
therapy has worked for loads of people I know. And sometimes people want to sit and talk about that. So it's a brilliant tool for people
mm,
that want therapy. And the profession is amazing. But I found for
mm,
me, I'd been dealing with this for years. And I knew what my trauma was. I'd been living in it, and I needed to move forward. And I had spoken about it so much. And, my parents and, it wasn't about wanting to talk about it anymore. Like I'd done that. It was about, right, I want to move forward now. Like I don't want to
right.
feel sad anymore. I want to be
Yeah.
like, let's go forward. And
Right.
use that, you know, because when you've experienced trauma, you're angry and you cry and that's all okay. That's like you're entitled to be angry and cry, but it's like at the end of it, you know, when I finished therapy, I didn't, and it's no disrespect to anyone that does therapy. I think therapy is amazing. I just never
Right.
felt leaving empowered. I always felt a little bit sad because,
Mm,
and sometimes I don't want, you know, I don't want to keep talking about that. I just want to
right.
discuss what I'm feeling for the day and like, how can I get to where I want to be, which is where I am
Mm.
now. And it's wonderful.
Okay. So therapy can be helpful. It's just that it may be best to have a therapist that actually helps you get past it and you moving past it and talking about the future, not just living in the past, basically, is what you're saying. Your
From my
therapist got
experience, yeah,
okay.
yeah. Because I don't want to say that all therapy is like, I think therapy is a wonderful tool and it helped me at the stage where I needed it because I needed to understand my trauma and what I'd been through. But once I got
Mm,
past that, which is what I should have said afterwards, is the coaching takes you forward. So
got it.
therapy just wasn't for me in the end. It didn't do what I needed. But some people love it, and some people, you know, they want to talk about their experiences, but I had talked about it so much that I was just like, I need something to, I, you know, I want to talk about what I want to do now, as in going
Mm,
forward. I know what's happened to me. I don't need to keep
reliving it,
dwelling.
understand.
Yes. But no disrespect to therapy at all, because I think it's a beautiful tool. It didn't get me to the end of the healing. And I always see therapy as talking about what you've been through, and coaching is talking about where you want to be. That's my
Okay.
experience
That
personally.
makes
Yeah.
sense. Okay. That
Yes.
makes sense. So maybe I will still try therapy um as a starter point and
Yeah.
then coaching as the second half. So that makes sense.
Yeah. I don't want
Um,
yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
So you mentioned overcoming domestic violence and sexual abuse. How has the coaching supported your healing process?
So, um, so my background as a whole, mine's gone from the age of around about 9 to about 26. I had sexual abuse when I was a child, and I had two very abusive partners, and in between that, I experienced sexual assault. So it's kind of been sprinkled over my life since I was 9 to the age of 26. So
Wow.
it's like it's every part of my, you know, early years, teens, and 20s, there was something that happened. So for me, I had really deep sadness, and I knew what it was. But with coaching, it's using powerful questions and healing techniques that kind of recognizes what you've experienced, but turning that into something to power you going forward. So I just feel at peace. There's shame and everything that can come with abuse, that I was able to heal from that, from like powerful questions and uncovering what I had experienced, but on my own terms. So with coaching, you ask powerful questions, you're not given advice. So
Hmm.
as a trauma survivor, that's very important because you're in the driving seat and you get to reveal what you want. You don't have to go down those deep, dark roots of pain. It's
Hmm.
it's more about uncovering. So from my experience, for example, I felt a really bad, big sadness about me as a child and with my parents. And I was able to shift my perspective on maybe how they dealt with things. And I was able to realize maybe from a human aspect, if you're looking at stuff from like a bird's eye view, you can understand that people are human. And I didn't carry so much hatred
Hmm.
because, or anger from my parents, because if I looked at it from a bird's eye view and not a personal view, I could see that actually they made mistakes, but it wasn't my fault. If hopefully that makes sense. So
It makes sense. Yeah.
it's kind of looking at these scenarios that you go through that you carry with you for your whole life, and when you start to look at things differently, you can help you heal because you're no longer carrying that pain or that, well, for me anyway, that's what's been the biggest thing for me. I've kind of been able to let go a lot of a lot of anger towards people, because I've been able to see it from maybe a different perspective and kind of accept that that's happened and move forward. And that's the biggest thing for me, because I don't feel stuck in my trauma anymore. I feel at peace.
Do you feel like your trauma affected your relationships with people? Like, were you angry with just outside of your family and outside of the person or the people that caused you trauma? Do you feel like you were you mistreating people or angry easily with other people outside of that because of your trauma?
Yeah, I had a lot of so I struggled to with my female relationships, because my biological mother, for another reason, she she wasn't really around how I needed her. So for example of that, I was very insecure about my friendships, and a lot of the abuse, not from my parents, but caused me to have a drug addiction and an eating disorder and self-harming. So I was very self-destructive because I was in a lot of pain, and I was trying to look for relationships to give me that love,
Uh,
because I didn't love myself. So it caused me to have really intense friendships that people couldn't always live up to. It was too much to expect from people, to kind of get that from someone else when you don't love yourself. So for
right.
me, it's recognizing that, okay, for example, I don't love myself, or people don't love me. And then where's the evidence to suggest that? There is absolutely no evidence. In fact, the evidence would suggest that I'm loved by many. So then that insecurity drops, because I'm no longer thinking no one loves me. Actually, I'm loved wholeheartedly. And those thoughts kind of disappear, because you're like, there's no evidence to support that. So you can go into a friendship feeling completely at ease and not needing them all the time. And it's actually a lot pressure, no pressure.
Mhm.
It's more comfortable and it's more authentic, because you know people are around because they want to be around, not because you kind of making them be around, because you're comfortable in
Mhm.
yourself.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay. Um, what does being an ICF accredited empowerment coach mean to you? Like, how do you use that work with your clients?
So the accreditation, so when I first started, it was foundation, but the accreditation means that it's fully accredited. Being an empowerment coach, I wanted to think about the kind of coaching that I wanted to do. So you can have mindset, you can have confidence. But for me, I'm a very empowering person, and I like to think that when I coach women, it's because they've got to the end of where they are, and they're like, they have had enough of sitting in their pain. They have done everything else, and now they want to feel empowered. So I am very much a very passionate person, and I recognize strengths in all women, and I will bring that out of you. But I will bring that out of you by asking you questions, and you will figure it out. I don't tell you what to do, but so I use my confidence to, I love bigging up women. As I said, I think women are epic. And like, I love my female friends. Even if I hear one of my female friends put themselves down, I'm like, absolutely not. Let's not
Right.
do that. You're a wonderful, amazing person. And I get my clients to kind of think of their lives like a story. It's like, if you were to talk about your life story and you watch that as a film, what would you think about that person? And they're like, well, they're me amazing and really strong. So it's like, well, yeah, that's your story. And that's why you're so strong and you're so powerful. So you leave this abusive relationship, or you discover you've been abused, and you end up leaving feeling like you're not worth anything. But it's like you've actually just survived something incredibly painful. You've
Right.
survived it, like you're a single mum and you've brought up your kid on your own. If you saw that as a film, you'd be like, oh my God. So it's like I help women to recognize that they are not helpless, they're not weak. Crying doesn't make them weak. They're actually phenomenally intricate, powerful, strong, beautiful women that can do anything. And that is my stance. And that's who I am. I will empower you to realize how amazing you are.
Wow, I love that. I know
Thank you.
you've been open about battling your eating disorder, drug addiction and self-harm. Have those
Hmm.
experiences shaped the way you show up for your clients the way you do?
Yeah, because I feel so I share everything that I go through, because for me to say to a client, I want you to come and talk to me about your story. One, I feel like I need to have experienced some of it to kind of relate, because I could coach, I'd be happy to coach anyone, but if women come to me with these specific things, then I feel I can kind of resonate in some way. However, our journeys aren't the same because everyone's is different, but they're similar. And having that, I can kind of recognize when I speak to someone, I can see what kind of person they are. I can see how they talk. Maybe they're a bit more sensitive. Maybe they're, they do want a bit more of a straight talking, which I'm very good at. And then I can kind of navigate the way that I work with them through that way. But I always create a safe space. So you could tell me, I would say to you, how would you like to be coached? And they might say, I just want you to hold me accountable. And I'm like, I've got it. Or they might say, actually, I just really just need to talk. And I'll be like, no problem. So you're in the driving seat. And that's why I love it, because everyone's trauma brings
It's
up something
different.
for them. So one person might not want that full on empowerment. They might want a bit more of a sensitive side. And so having those experiences, I feel like comfortable to share them, and so people can trust and share their story with me.
I love that because you let a person, I guess that would make me feel comfortable as well, especially if you let me decide on how the connection begins, not just going in directing how this is going to be. They tell you what they need, and
Yes.
then you're open to that.
Yes.
I love that. Um,
100%.
you've been in business for 3 months already. You've been already making an impact. What's one of your biggest lessons that you've learned in your early stages?
To just trust and believe in yourself, and just know that your story matters, and that helping people and going with your authentic self, doing what you really want to do that's authentically you, will take you down the path that you should go. Don't try and steer it off because you think that's what people want to hear. You will find your tribe if you just be yourself, and being
Wow.
authentically you will bring the people in. Don't feel you have to change, because that's what I'm saying. Your unique presence, there is a tribe that will want to be around you, and they will come to you, and you don't have to be fake. It's not like working in corporate. You're not a puppet. You can be
Mm.
exactly how you want to be, wear the clothes you want to wear, talk how you want to talk, just be a good person, and the people will come to you. And just don't doubt yourself, because you're capable of anything.
Wow. That's a great message. A lot of people have a hard time just being their authentic selves because, in society and in the world, you have to cover yourself so much to fit in different rooms, in different spaces, different jobs, different groups. How does one actually come out of that headspace and really open up to become their authentic selves? Because the world has made us kind of hide ourselves and cover ourselves for so long to fit in.
Yep, I completely agree. It's the having the ability to not care. Um,
Mm.
my thing would be, as long as you're a good person on the inside and you want to do good things, if someone doesn't like you, then they're not your person. As long as
Mm.
you're a good person and you be a good person, really, that's all that matters. And if people don't like that, if they've got an opinion, they're not your people. It doesn't matter. It's just an opinion. And if you wanted to say, walk into a room, for example, walking into a room worrying if people like you, or being authentically yourself, I would say, what's the worst that can happen? And they might say, well, they might talk about me. Okay, say they talk about you. What's the worst that can happen? I guess they might not like me. Okay, what if they don't like you? Well, I guess they just won't be in my circle. And you start to think about, what's the worst that can happen? The worst that's can happen is they won't be in your circle, but do you want them in your circle? No, so just go for it.
That's a great tip. Um, what do you want survivors to know about healing, power, and purpose?
That healing is messy. It doesn't look perfect. Every day is different. it isn't a one road, that you could think that you're doing really well, and then one day something might trigger it and you feel really angry. And you might think that you look on Instagram and you see everything's perfect, but Instagram isn't real. There's no such thing as perfection. If you're waking up every day and you are doing your best to get past your trauma and be a good person, you're already doing so much. Don't worry about the perfect journey. Just see how far you've come and recognize how far you've come and congratulate yourself for that. And the more you do that, the more you do that, the more you recognize, the more you talk about yourself in a positive way, you'll feel more empowered. Just think about yourself as a story, as a journey, as a film. And if you were to look back and think about someone else that had been in that scenario, you would admire them. So admire yourself, speak kindly to yourself, and just recognize your worth. And that days will be messy, but that's okay. It's all part of the process and it's all beautiful.
Girl, you got some good tips here today. I
Well,
love
thank
it.
you very much.
I love it. I love your authenticity. I love your voice, your tone, the way you share it. I can feel your message behind your words, that you mean what you say, and it's genuine. Um,
Thank you.
I'm hoping that the audience can hear this and become inspired by this message that you're giving, because I'm actually inspired by it as well. Um,
Thank you.
so what are you currently working on or building that you're excited to share with our audience?
So for me, I am on a mission to help as many women as possible step into their power. So for me, it's just coaching women, collaborating women, excuse me, collaborating with women. Because I'd like to say equally, you were inspired. You're very inspiring as well. All that you've done, all you're doing, I really appreciate being on it. It's an honor. Just collaborating and helping women. I feel like we put ourselves under an immense amount of pressure to be perfect in this day and age. And I don't think that women realize how much they're capable of. Something that really annoys me is people would always used to say, "Oh, you cry too much." And it's like, okay, well, okay, fine. And it would be like that's a weakness. But women are anything but weak. We might get angry, we might get annoyed. We do
That's so
cry.
true.
But
We do.
we're not weak. We're so much more. And that's my mission, to bring that out of women and let them really step into their power. So for me, it's coaching, 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 collaborating, and just sharing my story to remove the stigma of shame that we feel, because there's nothing to be ashamed of. We didn't ask for it, it happened. It's horrendous, but it doesn't have to be. It can be part of your story, but it doesn't have to be your future, and it doesn't have to be your now.
It sure does not. How can people connect with you directly that may want to work with you?
Well, my Instagram has my contact where you can contact me on there. I have my Facebook and LinkedIn and my email address as well. So you can contact me on any of those platforms, and I'm always there ready to answer, ready for any questions, any queries, or even if you just want a bit of, I don't know, if you message me and you're like, I'm just feeling a bit down in myself, I always try to leave daily or every other day some kind of little affirmation for people to watch to let them know they're worthy. And I've always say that you've got this at the end of it, because at the end of my set, when I say stuff, because you really do, everyone, you're capable, and you've got this. So any way that you fancy,
You got this.
you've got this.
You got it.
100%.
100%. Um, I know you said something about collaboration. What does collaboration look like for you in your business, or community look like in your world with other women?
So I, when I'm on Instagram or any kind of social media, I'm always looking for women that kind of sharing the same kind of, for me, it's the same message. So I love to see women that again are authentically them. I love to see, so I'm a big believer on body positivity, about just not worrying about how you look as
Mm.
opposed to looking perfect. I feel like I believe that aging is a blessing and that
Yeah.
we're lucky to wake up and move in our bodies and be here. So anybody that promotes, healthy mind, healthy body, the same message, podcast, collaboration, blog posts, anything that we can do to come together to bring more women together. I will collaborate with women that just want to change the way that we think about ourselves. So that for me is collaboration and working with women on obviously a one-to-one basis or anything that helps that way.
I love it. Well,
Thank you.
before we get out of here,
Mm.
what's one message? I know you gave a lot of great tips and messages already. But what's one message that you would leave with every woman listening today?
I would say don't let anyone try to make you feel you're less than what you are, which is worthy, powerful, resilient, amazing, phenomenal. And perfection doesn't exist. Imperfections, your unique traits are what makes you wonderful. And you should continue to be unique, authentically yourself, and don't let anyone try to change you. And if they don't appreciate you, get rid of them.
Huh. Okay, to that. Get
And
rid
that
of
is
them.
that.
If they don't appreciate you, get rid of them, okay?
They're not worth your time. They're not
They're
worth your
not
time.
worth your time. All right. Well, Becky's story is a profound example of courage, transformation, and the power of using pain as fuel for purpose. As Boss Women Network transitions into CEOS in January 2026, we are honored to spotlight voices like Becky's. Women are leading with empathy, empowerment, and unapologetic truth. So, to learn more about Becky, make sure you remember to connect with her and her journey. Follow her on Instagram. Will you repeat it one more time, your Instagram handles and how they can find you?
Yeah, so it's Becky Louise Smith on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And my email is coaching@beckylouisesmith.com.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much, Becky, for joining me today. I loved
Thank you.
everything that you were talking about. You inspired me today as well. I love everything that you were talking about today. And I love your accent.
Oh, look, and yours. And look, all the best, success, everything to you. I think you're awesome. I really am grateful and I'm really can't wait to see you shine. I think you're amazing. I really, really appreciate it. It's been an
Thank you
absolute
so
pleasure.
much. Thank
Thank
you
you so
so
much.
much. All
See you
right.
later.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, bye, bye.
And much luck to you and much blessings to you and everything that you're trying to accomplish as well. I mean, it's
Thank you.
amazing that you just started 3 months ago and you're already doing it. So,
Oh, I'm on it. You wait.
all
Thank you
right.
so much. See you.
Bye.
Bye.